This sucks, man.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bandai movie monster series Kaizer Ghidorah from Godzilla Final Wars. Up first, let's take a look at the tag. A hot dog! Shit just writes itself. Unintentional Kaiser Kevin Pogface aside, this is a rather nice image of Kaizer Ghidorah. We have Kaizer Ghidorah in Japanese, English, Godzilla 2023. The back of the tag will say Godzilla Final Wars, Bandai Namco, movie monster series, Bandai, blah, 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 and all the usual stuff on the inside. Now let's sleeve this three-pronged golden fork dog Ghidorah so he will remain fresh for years to come. The tag at least, not so much anything else. Is this figure bad? Is it good? No. Is it as bad as Mothra 92? No. Now, despite me saying that, I'm not going to let this thing off scot-free because we have some interesting mismatching golds here. The gold over here specifically doesn't feel as if it was applied as heavily as in other areas, as you can see. Very piss gold, very light gold, somewhat light gold, dark piss gold. It's interesting, to say the least, I think. But more importantly, the detail back here. It is fantastic. We have some very alien-looking armor plating. We have very stretchy, very sinewy-looking skin and veins on the wings over here. I especially love this little detail right here, which looks like the skin is stretching, almost pulling itself apart. It's a cool-looking detail that I just wish was painted up in such a way where it didn't look like it was painted by a machine. We're not going to get much gold beyond that until we get to the tips of the tails over here, which I guess I can say they painted the tails all the way to the tip. That's pretty cool. I don't know why the rest of the tails were kind of left a little bit barren, but again, machine painting. In fact, most of this figure's issues regarding paint is 100% attributed to that of machine painting. But don't worry, I'll pitch a tent about that later. The front of the figure over here is going to have quite a lot of gold, quite a lot of detail. My main complaint with the gold paint on the front of the figure is that it's just too much. I should probably explain myself there. So looking at the figure over here, you can tell that clearly it's all very much a solid gold. Where it was painted and applied, there's really nothing there to break it up. And when you look at the suit kinda has that going on. And this is one of the very weird instances where I feel the original figure did the design more justice than the suit did. Because upon looking at the original figure, you can see that it's more of a dry brushed application. It feels like all of the raised portions of Kaizer Ghidorah was just lightly glided over with some gold paint, and it brings forth this really nice crushed gold, dirty gold look to the figure. That, I feel, highlighted the original figure's strong suits in every angle present, and it just looked more like an organic vinyl figure. Whereas here, it just, yeah, it looks like they put him through the Bandai machine and didn't give much of a fuck afterwards. My other issue will more so stem from how the heads look, but let's cover the underside of the figure first. Now, clearly the underside of the figure will not be painted, but we do have some doggy, butt dragging after a fresh shit gold on the back of his legs. I apologize for that very disgusting visual that I had to take in order to explain what this looks like, but that's kind of what it looks like. Kinda wish they just would have went with a stronger gold, much like the toenails back here, which, hey, I'm surprised those are painted at all. And I guess I'm surprised that there's paint back here at all to begin with, so win's a win, I guess. The side of the figure is rather barren. Again, that dry brushing technique I feel really would have brought everything together here, and I mean, look at all of the blank detail going on here. There's a lot to look at, a lot to marvel at, and it's kind of just sitting there with no accentuation. And I guess for the most part, I feel the exact same way about the undersides of the wings. Like, yeah, I'm glad we got this, but you have all of this that you could have explored. Kaizer Ghidorah is a very gold-looking being. So gold to the extent where I wish it was just molded in a gold-looking vinyl with just black dry brushing on it, because then maybe we would have gotten something better. But alas, at least the details are very nice. I mean, I can't deny that. Even if I absolutely tried to hate this figure, I wouldn't be able to deny that. And it just follows through with the Kaizer Ghidorah suit. It's stretchy, it's layered, it's alien, it's just not nice to look at in a scientifical way or something like that. But it's nice to look at as a figure. That's what I'm just trying to say here. The little Kaizer digits at the top of the wings will be painted, both sides of course, and as you saw, they won't be painted on the undersides. And as far as the underside of the figure goes, that's pretty much it in terms of paint. Not too much to cover there. But before I get to the heads, let's cover another thing that I found rather interesting. Despite popular assumption, including my own, Kaizer Ghidorah will actually stand a little bit over 7 inches tall. At his highest point, he is over 7 inches tall, and hey there, Bandai, I really do appreciate the bigger size. I just wish a little bit more effort would have gone into the paint. Effort that we've seen before in both Godzilla store exclusives and wide releases. We'll get to that in a bit. Again, fantastic detailing. That's going to move up to the back of the necks and the heads. Again, the paint is helping, but the paint can be rather spotty. Paint on one side, not too much paint on the other. Pretty well balanced. He gold. He's not. I do like this little spot in terms of details, though. And I kind of really like that the backs of his necks overall, I should say, really aren't just one giant noodle with a head attached to it. So I guess there's that. Now let's take a look at the heads, which in terms of paint and detail, I feel might be both the weakest and somewhat the strongest at the exact same time. So the faces are going to have a lot of paint, but too much paint, I think. On top of that, it really doesn't help that all the heads just look kind of goofy. Hot dog? Hot dog? A nice key lime pie. Gross. Like, don't get me wrong, detail-wise, yeah, there's a lot and it looks great. And I really like that each head has a different assortment of horns atop it. It really helps add a little bit of personality to them, but it really doesn't help the figure in the long run because they look like fucking Muppets. I mean, really, does this look anything like this? No. No matter the angle, low, eye level, or high, the intimidation factor of Kaizer Ghidorah is kind of just lost here, although this angle does look better. It's just rather unfortunate. And while I do feel the golden paint is really fucking gaudy, it does highlight the details really nicely. And it is nice to see that most of the teeth caught some gold paint, save for this guy's front grill and yogurt dribble. Hot dog? Presentation is a mixed bag here, because again, the detail is nice, the likeness really isn't, and I don't feel the paint like it does it favors, but at the same time it really doesn't. And this really grimace shake looking tongue paint that they chose for this guy, it's just weird. Yeah, I'm aware the original figure had a red tongue and a pink upper mouth. Looked kind of weird there too, but here it just feels a bit on the extra side. But at least the horns look cool, I guess, you know? There's something there. I mean, yeah, the detailing, I mean, that's to be expected from the Bandai Movie Monster series at this point. If we ever get a figure that feels like it's under-detailed at almost, like, end-of-the-world status. So, of course, detail is going to get a solid star. It's more so the paint where I feel I'm a bit mixed. Even though we got a lot more paint than we normally would have with a wide release, it still really doesn't scratch the itch, so to speak. And it really makes the figure come off kind of bland and boring and a little soulless. And I'll take that a step further and say, had they done a different kind of paint application on this thing, this guy might have actually hit my top 10 favorite figures of the year, despite other things. But paint, I'm sorry. I really am, but I can't give it a solid X, but I can't give it a solid star, and I'm a little bit more negative towards the paint than anything else. So, I think this is the first time I'm doing this, but I'm going to give it a half an X, not so much a star. Tops of the wings, the application's a bit spotty. Other areas, it just feels done. And I feel like for a design such as this, for a monster such as this that has been long awaited to make a return to this line since 2004, this feels almost like a massive disservice. Now I'm going to move on into my two major paint comparisons with this figure, just to, you know, drive the point home, and then we'll get into articulation. So why did I go with half an X with Kaizer Ghidorah? What am I really getting at here? Well, this is the first example I could really think of, that being Gold Ghidorah. Now, mind you, yes, Gold Ghidorah is a Godzilla store exclusive, still in stock, by the way. But Gold Ghidorah cost less. This guy cost more. Now, to kind of put this to rest here, that's definitely because of the size of the figure, the overall dimensions of the figure and such. I mean, as compared to Ghidorah, I mean, look at that. Yeah, I can totally see why this guy cost more vinyl, yes. But just the fact that we have a hand-painted, at least that's what it looks like, Golden Ghidorah with the paint job that Kaizer Ghidorah could have supremely benefited from. It just showcases that there was a possibility. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's fucking photobombing back there. I see you there, Lumen.
My name is Dace.
Jerk. Again, it shows that there was a possibility for Kaizer Ghidorah being able to look like this. And quite honestly, with a paint job like this, I might have been able to look over the very Muppet-looking fucking faces Kaizer has. But now, let's take it a step further. Let's take a look at a wide release figure that did the whole dry brushing thing, and kinda killed it. That being my absolute favorite hors d'oeuvre boy, Ebirah. What? Ebirah has the kind of dry brushing that I wish Kaizer Ghidorah was outfitted with. It's not too much, but it's definitely more than enough to convey that Ebirah has a little bit more going on than just his base color. Imagine this guy with this kind of dry brushing, but it's gold. You see what I'm saying here, Mr. Krabs? Kaizer Ghidorah could have massively benefited from something like this, even if it didn't turn out as gold. So that's my major think piece on the paint job here. We have a Godzilla store exclusive with very heavy-handed hand-painted nature, and we have a wide release with a pretty light nature in terms of the application. Why couldn't this or this been applied to this, especially for the price that was being paid? Mind you, this guy pretty much cost $35. 5,280 yen. The original figure, I know we're going back in time, certain things costed a lot less, but the original figure, 3,024 yen. It was on sale on HobbyLink Japan for $18. A figure that goes for well over hundreds now was 18 bucks. And again, that's all attributed to the times, material costs, the whole 9 yards. We're in a completely different era at this point. But it really does just, like, amaze me that the original figure, this prodigal son of paint, detail, articulation, size, just blew the the fandom away for such a cheap price, and this guy costs more and features exceptionally less. Articulation. Kaizer Ghidorah, once known as one of the most highly articulated vinyl figures ever, has been relegated to just 2 points of articulation. And it's just the front legs, unfortunately. Yep, nothing in the heads, nothing in the necks, nothing in the hind legs, nothing at the tail, nothing at the wings, which wasn't expected to begin with. And yeah, nothing at the heads at all. After Monster X, I can't say I'm really surprised about this. So I am going to be a little bit harsher on this, and I am going to give articulation an X, because what is so hard about making Ghidorah's head swivel? Make the whole body and wings a solid piece and just give us articulation at the heads and the legs. Do something. I don't know. It's just, he's another fucking brick in the Movie Monster series. There we go. Now we can take a look at size comparisons. Big rat, little iguana baby, duck rat, new rat. Oh, look at that. They're in scale. That's cool. Final Wars Chooms. Better monster. Intentional or not, I mean, at least we got this, right? Definitely better than that of Monster X. And, I mean, just to kind of sum everything up and such, yeah, way better than 92 Mothra. In every way, shape, and form. It's great to be back. I'm glad to be back. And as of right now, I don't know what's going to be following this video up, but Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Burning Godzilla is on his way, and I'm very, very excited for that. I will see you all next time. Peace. Oh yeah, social media and Patreon, $1 a month, access to everything. Bye.